Good afternoon, I'm Charmaine Colvin and you are listening to Apna Radio 93.9 Dublin South FM. On India this week, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi opened one of the country's longest expressways on Wednesday, connecting 12 districts over nearly 600 kilometres in the most populous state of Uttar Pradesh. The expressway has been built at a cost of 362.30 billion rupees, that's around $3.82 billion, by Adani Enterprises and IRB infrastructure developers. The 6-lane Greenfield corridor, the longest in the northern state, will significantly reduce the time taken to travel from Meerut in the east to Prayagraj in the west, covering 594 kilometres. Named after the holy Ganga River that flows through the state, the government expects the expressway to be a launchpad for industrial corridors. The Indian government has significantly increased its spending on infrastructure after the COVID-19 pandemic, with a record 12.2 trillion rupees allotted for spending in this year's budget. A slew of recent projects connecting major cities have been part of a broader push by the government to enhance agricultural and industrial development and boost tourism in cities and towns. India issued a notification late on Tuesday proposing amendments to the Central Motor Vehicles rules to formally incorporate higher ethanol blended fuels. The Ministry of Road Transport and Highways said the draft includes provisions for E85 fuel, a blend of 85% ethanol with petrol, and E100, which would allow vehicles to run on nearly pure ethanol. The draft rules have been opened for public comments, after which the government will take a final decision. India achieved its target of 20% ethanol blending in petrol in 2025 and is now looking to increase blending further to reduce costly imports of petroleum products. Tensions in the Middle East are rippling far beyond the region and are now being felt in India's glass city, Firozabad, where thousands of jobs are at risk. In the city in northern Uttar Pradesh state, about 50 kilometres from the famed Taj Mahal, glass is at the centre of life. Firozabad produces 70% of the country's glass, much of it in small and medium-sized factories. The industry employs some 150,000 people who earn between 500 rupees, around £3.91, and 1,000 rupees a day, incomes that leave little margin for rising prices. Now those factories are under strain and the biggest reason is gas. Glass making depends on a steady supply of natural gas to keep furnaces running at extremely high temperatures. But as tensions disrupt energy flows from the Middle East, supplies have become uncertain and costs have risen. Much of the disruption is linked to the Strait of Hormuz, a narrow shipping route in the Gulf through which nearly half of India's gas imports pass. While some shipments have resumed in recent weeks, factory owners say the benefits are yet to reach them. More than 400 small manufacturing clusters here make glass items ranging from car headlamp covers and bangles to light shades, decorative items and chandeliers, feeding a domestic market worth over $200 million. Some owners report losses of 25 to 40% since the war began and say they are uncertain how long they can continue if supplies remain unstable. A recent UN Development Programme report warns that the conflict could push as many as 2.5 million people in India into poverty. A man in eastern India has said he was forced to carry his sister's skeletal remains to a bank to prove her death after failing to withdraw her savings. A video from Odisha state of Jitumunda, 52, taking the remains to the bank went viral this week, sparking outrage. He said he acted in frustration after repeated attempts to access the money without being able to show official proof of death. Police said he exhumed the woman's remains to bring them to the bank. The bank denied asking for this, saying they only demanded legally required documents. It added that the incident appeared to stem from a lack of awareness of procedures and that the money has since been handed over to the legal heirs. The incident, which took place in Kionja district on Monday, drew national attention, with many criticising local authorities and the bank for failing to help the man. Odisha's Revenue Minister Suresh Pujari said the case was under investigation and that action will be taken against the branch manager over his alleged conduct. The Kionja District Administration also expressed deep concern, saying protecting people's rights and dignity was a priority. And finally, a spectacular brass astrolabe, or a handheld astronomical computer from the 17th century, once part of the royal collection of Jaipur City in Western India, will go under the hammer at Sotheby's in London this week. The object is perhaps the largest in existence and has never been exhibited before. Known to be part of the royal collection of Maharaja Sarway Man Singh II of Jaipur, it was passed on to his wife, Maharani Gayatri Devi, one of the most glamorous women of her time, after his death. It then moved to a private collection during her lifetime. Astrolabes are metallic discs with multi-layered interlocking components that were historically used to tell the time, map the stars, the direction of Mecca, and the motion of the sky. Sotheby's say the piece's pristine condition and royal provenance is expected to attract keen interest from museums and collectors, with the piece coming to the market at an estimate of 1.5 to 2.5 million. The current record is held by an Ottoman astrolabe made for Sultan Bayezid II, which was a much smaller piece, sold in 2014 for just under 1 million. And that's all from me. You are listening to Apna Radio, 93.9 Dublin South FM.
Everything's fine on 93.9 Dublin South FM.